Hi Leo, welcome to your September 2024 horoscope. We start off the month on September 2nd with Uranus going retrograde. Uranus will be retrograde until January of 2025, so you will have a bit of time to reflect and go introspective. Uranus is going retrograde in your 10th house of career and public image, so you will be reflecting as to whether your career and the way that others perceive you is more in line with your own goals, with your own identity, or more in line with what society expects of you. On the same day, Pluto will retrograde back into the sign of Capricorn, which for you is your 6th house. Pluto will be in Capricorn not for very long, only until mid-November, but still now that it will be back in your 6th house, you will be reflecting on how you have stepped into your power when it comes to your routine, when it comes to your health, and whether you have really gone and addressed all of the fears that you have around your body, around your health, around your routine, your diet, all of those aspects of your life. The next day, on September 3rd, we have a new moon in Virgo in your 2nd house. This for you, Leo, might mean that you are getting a new type of financial income. Perhaps you are reaching a new level of understanding when it comes to your self-esteem and self-love. At the same time, during this new moon, we have two aspects to sort of give a bit of flavor to what's happening. One of them is a square between Mars and Neptune, and the other one is a conjunction between Venus and the South Node. Mars will be squaring Neptune from your 11th house, while Neptune is in your 8th house. So there might be a certain tension while you're trying to start up something new financially, while you're trying to be more loving towards yourself. You might feel a tension between the goals that you want to achieve, all of these visions that you have for where you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years, and your level of vulnerability, your level of intimacy that you can express with somebody else. You know, it might be that your inability or your struggle to be vulnerable with somebody is sort of preventing you from achieving all of your future goals. You know, maybe one of your future goals is to get married, to have children. Again, this is just one example, but it's very hard to do that when you're not able to really be vulnerable and to bond intimately with your partner. It could also work the other way. So it might be that your future goals and visions are so ambitious or so focused on, earning money or having an amazing career. And that in turn is making it really difficult for you to have the time, have the mental space to be vulnerable and open with your partner. And all of this is happening in the background while you're also trying to start up this new financial endeavor or to be more loving for yourself. So you can imagine how that might impact your new financial endeavor. Might be difficult to get your mind fully on that. It might be difficult to love yourself while you feel like you are struggling to connect with your partner. At the same time, the other aspect during this new moon is a conjunction between Venus and the South Node in your house of communication. So it might be that you are falling into old patterns of communicating, some unhealthy ways of communicating and sharing your thoughts, sharing what's going on in your mind. And that might be making it difficult to be vulnerable with your partner, might be making it difficult for you to love yourself. And it might start to become really apparent how you need to learn to communicate in a different way. What habits, when it comes to how you speak, you need to let go of. On September 5th, Mars will enter the sign of Cancer or your 12th house. So overall in September, you might feel a little bit lazy. You might not feel like really doing a lot of things. Because Mars is in such a introspective internal house, you might be a lot more focused on spirituality, on going within. You might be more inclined to sort of not keep up with your routine, but rather to coast, to go with the flow, to get caught up and lose hours, scrolling or doing whatever your preferred way of escaping is. So there might be a little bit more of that energy during the month of September. On September 8th, the Sun in your second house will oppose Saturn in your eighth house. While this is quite a quick transit, it might still feel quite intense because, again, we're talking about the Sun and Saturn, which can both be quite impactful planets. Saturn has been in your eighth house for a while, Leo, so you've probably been feeling a little bit of that struggle with your vulnerability and learning how to open up in a more practical and realistic way with your partner. And on this day, you might especially feel that pull between being your own individual, standing maybe sometimes in your ego, feeling proud that you can support yourself, that you can be on your own. And at the same time, this very realistic need that sometimes we do rely on others. Sometimes we really need others in our life. You might really feel the tension between those two. A couple of days later, the Sun continues to move through your second house, and eventually on the 12th, it squares Jupiter. So while this is, an aspect with a more positive planet, it is still a tense aspect. It is square. So Jupiter is in your 11th house and the Sun in your second house. And we see again this tension between your finances, you wanting to love yourself more, to really be there for yourself more, and at the same time, these expansive future goals you have for yourself. And it could be that you're directing so much attention to your goals, you're so focused on them that you forget to love yourself, or that you don't have time to love yourself. You're focused so much on your future goals that you start to give a lot of your money towards them and tend to be a little bit less financially stable, for example. So these are just some ways that this energy could play out. So while Mars is in your 12th house, it continues to move through your 12th house. And on the 16th of September, it squares the North and the South node. The North and the South node are in your 9th and 3rd house, Leo. So while spending time alone, while spending time really cultivating your inner world, maybe focusing and thinking about spirituality, because again, Mars is in your 12th house, you might start finding some areas of friction, some beliefs and lifestyles that don't work for you. You might be finding ways that you communicate that no longer fit this newly discovered spiritual side of you. And there might be some adjustments that are needed there. Then finally, on September 18th, we reach our lunar eclipse. So this is the second eclipse season of 2024. We have an eclipse in September and then another one in October. So the partial lunar eclipse on September 18th is basically a full moon in the sign of Pisces. For you, the moon will be in your 8th house, so you might find a revelation. It might become clear to you, more clear than it's ever been before, about all of the ways that you can be vulnerable with a partner, about what vulnerability means to you, about all of the ways that you thought you were vulnerable, but you haven't been. And again, this is a full moon in Pisces. Neptune is also really close by. So you might find that you're quite dreamy or quite idealistic during this full moon. So if the revelations you get are much more bigger scale, maybe a bit more unrealistic, or maybe more like all-encompassing and unconditional and more spiritual, don't be alarmed by that. Don't dismiss them. I think there can still be beautiful revelations with this Piscean energy that hopefully later we can learn how to apply and how to make tangible. And honestly, during this lunar eclipse, we also have Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto retrograde. So there is definitely this need to go in, this need to be silent, this need to spend time alone, journaling, meditating, whatever the practice is for you, that allows you to reflect on what's happening inside of you rather than seeking those answers from somebody else. And even though Neptune is quite close to the moon during the lunar eclipse, it doesn't oppose the sun exactly until a couple of days later on September 21st. So this means that you might continue to feel this lunar eclipse energy a little bit more drawn out up until the 21st of September. The day after, on September 22nd, we have Pluto speaking up. Pluto has two aspects on the 22nd, a square with Venus and a trine with the Sun. Venus is in your third house, the Sun is in your second house. And remember, Pluto has retrograded back into Capricorn, or your sixth house. With the square with Venus, how this could manifest is that perhaps your siblings or your neighbors are making it difficult for you to really follow your routine, or making it difficult for you to address your fears when it comes to your routine or your health or your diet. It could be also that the way you're communicating about your routine doesn't truly reflect this newfound power and confidence you have in that area of your life. At the same time, though, remember we have a more easy or supportive trine with the Sun in your second house. So it could be that actually your finances are while your siblings and your neighbors are maybe making it more difficult with your routine, your finances are positively helping it. Maybe you have more money to throw into a better diet or a better workout class to go to. Remember, the second house also represents our self-esteem, our self-love for ourselves. So it could be also that this newly found self-love for yourself, it can mitigate, it can lessen some of that maybe more challenging impact of your siblings and your neighbors. So you're still able to stand in your power when it comes to taking care of day-to-day matters. We're almost there. Let's talk about the second last aspect of the month of September. This is happening on September 29th when the Sun conjuncts the South Node. For you, Leo, this is happening in your third house. So you're really thinking again about any habits you have around communicating that are no longer serving you. Do you talk to others, or do you talk to yourself in a way that feels comfortable, but in a way that you shouldn't really be doing anymore? It might really become apparent to you on this day how your ego is fed from this old habit, but how maybe it's not benefiting you in any other way. And that you need to perhaps do something different that is uncomfortable, but better for you in the end. And finally, we close off the month on the 30th of September with a trine between Mars and Saturn. For you, Mars and Saturn are in more internal houses. Mars is in the 12th, Saturn is in the 8th. But it is overall a more supportive aspect. So all of the time that you have been spending focused on your spirituality, the time that you have been spending reflecting, the time you've been spending alone. Honestly, the 12th house is the house of spending time alone. Is somehow making it easier for you to be more vulnerable with your partner, to be more open with them, to be able to bond with them in a more meaningful way. Overall, Leo, a wonderful month ahead. Focus on your finances, focus on learning to love yourself even more, and focus on communication. How can you communicate in a way that feels more aligned to you? And honestly, vulnerability with your partner, that continues to be a big aspect in your life in the month of September. So honestly, all very nice things to focus on during the following month. I hope you enjoy September, and I hope this forecast helps you out, helps you get a feel of what to expect. I wanted to also thank you for 1,000 subscribers. I believe we reached that last month in August. So thank you for everybody who subscribed. Rosie Roses 85, you are the winner of the giveaway. So please do reach out to me to claim your free reading. You can go to my channel, click on the community tab, and reach out to me there. Thank you so much for joining me, Leo, and I hope to see you again soon.